We are talking about July 6th through the 17th. Let us start with the very first domino, and it revolves around the absolute unchecked hubris of Carly Spencer. If you ask me, Carly has always believed she could bully her way into controlling every outcome, especially when it comes to her children. But she is about to meet her match in the enigmatic WSB head, Z. Carly is marching into his office, fully expecting to apply enough pressure to force Z to fire Jocelyn Jacks from the agency. But guys, Z is not some local Port Charles thug she can simply intimidate. I suspect we are about to see a massive flip in the power dynamic. Instead of caving to Carly's demands, Z is going to look right past her and place his absolute trust in Jocelyn. Think about it. Jocelyn just successfully brokered a massive, high-stakes deal to secure the freedom of Jason Morgan and Valentine Cassadine. Z sees a prodigy. He sees a brilliant, ruthless operative in the making. I theorize that Z will immediately assign Jocelyn to a series of top-secret, highly dangerous missions. The domino effect here is Carly's utter psychological collapse. For the first time in her life, Carly will realize she is completely powerless. She cannot protect her daughter from the dark, seductive world of international espionage. And the ultimate twist? It might just be Jocelyn herself who brings Jason and Valentine back into the city limits, wearing her new WSB authority like a crown, leaving her mother watching from the sidelines in absolute horrifying disbelief. But do not pop the champagne for a happy, romantic reunion just yet, ladies. If you are hoping to see Valentine Cassadine run straight into Anna Devayne's waiting arms, you might want to prepare for a devastating heartbreak. The second domino falls the moment Valentine's freedom is technically secured. I strongly suspect that Valentine is not going to return to a normal, quiet life in Port Charles. Z does not just let highly skilled assets walk away, especially someone with Valentine's particular set of lethal talents. I believe Z has a hidden agenda, a manipulative scheme that involves handing Valentine a highly classified, incredibly dangerous secret mission the second he steps out of his holding cell. Valentine will vanish into the shadows once again, sacrificing his own happiness for the greater good, or perhaps to pay off a debt to the WSB that we do not even know about yet. This means the long-awaited, deeply emotional reunion between Valentine and Anna will be cruelly delayed. And what does a heartbroken, frustrated Anna Devane do when the man she loves disappears without a trace? She goes on the hunt. Anna is not gonna just sit by the fire and knit while her heart breaks into a million pieces. She has already been battling terrifying hallucinations and questioning her own sanity, but this delayed reunion is going to ignite a fierce fire in her soul. I foresee Anna launching her own rogue investigation, tearing through international borders to find out exactly what Z is holding over Valentine's head. This is the vicious cycle of the Cassadine men. They always leave the women they love waiting in the dark. But Anna is a legacy character, a woman of immense power, intellect, and sheer willpower. If she discovers that Z is using Valentine as a pawn in some unholy alliance, she will tear the WSB apart brick by brick to get him back. The dominoes of Valentine's forced disappearance will crash right into Anna's fragile mental state, potentially pushing her to make decisions that cross every legal and moral line she has ever drawn in her long career. Meanwhile, back in Port Charles, another set of dominoes is wobbling precariously. We all know Danny Morgan and Rocco Falconeri have been up to their necks in trouble, but I suspect their reckless teenage rebellion is about to inadvertently trigger a massive shift in the mob landscape. Instead of just creating more legal headaches for their mothers, what if Danny and Rocco accidentally stumble into a situation that helps Jason Morgan complete a daring, impossible escape plan? Picture this. The boys are snooping where they absolutely shouldn't be, perhaps trying to clear Rocco's name regarding the Ross Cullum shooting, and they unknowingly disable a security grid or distract the right WSB guard at the exact perfect moment. Jason, being the tactical genius he is, seizes the opportunity instantly. The domino effect of their teenage interference is the explosive, unannounced return of Stone Cold to the dangerous streets of Port Charles. And Jason's return could not possibly come at a more critical, desperate moment. With Sonny Corinthos distracted by the Jen Sidwell chaos and Ava Jerome's constant, exhausting scheming, the Corinthos family is incredibly vulnerable. I theorize that Jason is going to speed back into town just as a terrifying new faction attempts to seize control of Sonny's weakened territory. Jason will have to step right back into his role as the ultimate enforcer, but this time, the emotional stakes are so much higher because his own son, Danny, is now actively playing in the dangerous waters of the mob and the WSB. Jason will be forced to protect the Corinthos legacy family from these emerging ruthless threats, all while trying to keep Danny from turning into the very thing Jason sacrificed his entire life to prevent. The dominoes of Jason's escape will shatter the fragile peace in Port Charles, plunging the city back into a full-blown, bloody mob war. Now, let us shift gears to the most heartbreaking betrayal currently brewing in the grand halls of the Quartermain Mansion. If you ask me, the hit-and-run storyline involving Willow Kane is about to experience a whiplash-inducing reversal. Brooklyn Quartermain thought she was so clever, engaging in this manipulative scheme to frame Willow and protect her own skin. But the universe has a funny, cruel way of balancing the scales. I suspect that the police investigation is going to take a sudden, sharp turn. New, undeniable evidence is going to surface, perhaps a piece of surveillance footage that Brick somehow missed, or a hidden witness who saw the real driver behind the wheel. This new evidence will slowly but surely start pointing the finger away from Willow and directly at Brooklyn. And here is where the absolute tragedy strikes. The person who uncovers this devastating truth will be none other than Harrison Chase. Imagine the sheer devastation, ladies. Harrison Chase, a man of unwavering moral compass, a dedicated and brilliant detective, is going to be the first one to spot the glaring loopholes in the evidence against Willow. As he pulls on the thread, the entire beautiful sweater of Brooklyn's lies will completely unravel. He will realize, with a sinking heart, that he is actively investigating his own wife. The domino effect here is the complete psychological and emotional collapse of Brooklyn Quartermain. When Chase finally confronts her, the foundation of their marriage will shatter into a million irreparable pieces. How can a legacy family like the Quartermains survive such a vicious cycle of deceit? Brooklyn will be thrown into an absolute crisis, facing not only severe prison time, but the terrifying reality of losing the man she loves and the family she has tried so desperately to hold together. Willow will slowly be exonerated, but the cost will be the utter destruction of Chase and Brooklyn's happily ever after. And this hit-and-run drama ties directly into the fate of Curtis Ashford. The rumors suggest that Curtis is going to make a highly controversial, incredibly risky decision. I firmly believe that Curtis will flat out refuse any plea deal offered to him by the district attorney. He is not going to take a short stint in Pentonville for a crime where the details are so incredibly muddy and suspicious. Curtis has a gut feeling that someone is hiding the absolute truth about that night, and he is willing to risk a much longer, harsher sentence by taking this case to a full-blown trial. The domino effect of Curtis demanding his day in court is that the trial will become a massive, public spectacle. It will be the exact pressure cooker needed to force the real culprit into the unforgiving light. As Curtis's defense team grills the witnesses, Brooklyn's carefully constructed house of cards will inevitably collapse on the witness stand, exposing her as the true driver in front of the entire town. But wait, because the medical drama at General Hospital is about to deliver a twist that will leave us all gasping for air. Let us talk about Britt Westbourne. For months, Britt has been living under the terrifying, suffocating dark cloud of Huntington's disease. She has made reckless choices, pushed people away, and lived as if she had a ticking time bomb in her blood. But I theorize that Britt is about to receive news that will completely alter the trajectory of her life. The new medical tests, prompted by Lucas Jones finding that suspicious saline solution, are going to come back with a shocking confirmation. Britt is entirely, 100% healthy. She does not have Huntington's disease. The devastating diagnosis was a complete and utter fabrication. When the realization hits Britt that she has been played, that someone orchestrated this massive, cruel lie to control her, the vulnerability will instantly vanish, replaced by the sheer, unadulterated wrath of the Britch. Who would do something so unbelievably evil? Was it Ross Cullum manipulating her medical records to keep her compliant? Was it Caesar Faison's lingering ghost operating through a hidden loyalist? Or perhaps a unholy alliance we haven't even considered yet? The domino effect of this revelation is that Britt will go on a relentless, ruthless hunt for the mastermind who played God with her life. She will tear through the hospital archives, interrogate everyone who touched her file, and she will not rest until the person responsible is utterly destroyed. Port Charles is simply not ready for a healthy, furious Britt Westbourne on the warpath. Speaking of people facing their imminent doom, let us look at the monster currently terrorizing our screens. Jens Sidwell. Sidwell thinks he is untouchable, a ghost who can manipulate the system at will, but I suspect his arrogance is about to be his literal downfall. If he ends up behind bars at Pentonville for his horrific crimes, he is not going to be the king of the cell block. In fact, I theorize that Sidwell has a massive glowing target painted on his back. There are far too many powerful people who want him silenced permanently. The domino effect of his imprisonment will be a swift, brutal assassination. I can clearly picture a chilling scenario where a mysterious, unidentified inmate slips into Sidwell's cell in the dead of night and strangles the life out of him. Or perhaps a shadowy assassin, hired by a rival syndicate or even a vengeful Ava Jerome, infiltrates the maximum security prison to ensure Sidwell never breathes another word. His death will spark a massive whodunit, leaving the PCPD scrambling to find a killer in a building completely full of them. And speaking of Ava Jerome, do you honestly think she is going to take Ethan Lovett's word at face value? Not a chance in hell. Ava is a fierce survivor, a woman who trusts absolutely no one, especially not a man who manipulates power as easily as he breathes. Ethan might have confessed in a moment of weakness that he is not Phoebe's biological father, but I suspect Ava is going to call his bluff in the most spectacular way. I theorize that Ava will secretly, quietly collect DNA samples from both Ethan and baby Phoebe to run her own independent, highly secure paternity test. The domino effect of Ava's brilliant paranoia will be catastrophic for Ethan. If the new results prove that Ethan actually is the father, or worse, if they reveal a much darker, hidden truth about Phoebe's lineage, Ethan's entire manipulative scheme will collapse instantly. Ava will hold the ultimate leverage over him, and she will not hesitate to use it to crush him under her designer heels. Finally, amidst all this darkness, betrayal, and impending doom, we have a glimmer of artistic hope that is about to be overshadowed by medical chaos. Giovanni Palmieri and Trina Robinson are preparing for a musical performance that I believe will be a massive, undeniable triumph. Pause. Their chemistry on stage will open up incredible new opportunities for both of them, a stark and beautiful contrast to Brooke Lynn, who will be far too distracted by her looming legal nightmare to even notice their success. But the real climax of these 2 weeks will center around Portia Robinson. The stress, the intense family drama, and the fierce confrontations are going to push Portia into early, highly complicated labor right in the middle of this citywide chaos. Portia's traumatic labor will act as the final, massive domino that brings all these fractured legacy families crashing together in the waiting rooms of General Hospital. Birth and death, truth and lies, all colliding in one explosive, unforgettable week. As the babies cry and the medical monitors beep, the dark secrets that have been festering in the shadows will finally be dragged into the sterile, unforgiving light of the hospital hallways. Will the beautiful birth of a new life be enough to heal the vicious cycle of betrayal, or will the truth about Brooke Lynn, the dangerous return of Jason, and the sinister lies surrounding Britt's health finally burn Port Charles to the ground? Only time will tell, my friends, but I have to ask you. When the dust settles and the cuffs are slapped on the real guilty parties, who do you think will be the last one standing?